Namaste everyone, it's the Chess Puzzler. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Today I am going to present the second installment of Greek Gift Sacrifice. Today we are going to cover a few patterns on the chessboard where the sacrifice on the h2 or the h7 square are not really very feasible, and also some scenarios where the opponent can defend its king by moving not to g1 or g1, b1, b8, g8, but to come out and defend itself. In this case, for example, you'll see that the sacrifice not really bear fruit. Once bishop takes on h2, king takes on h2. After the check, the king just comes out to g3. What do you do next? You bring the queen to g5, trying to plot a discovered check once the knight moves. But then simply uh, the knight attacks the queen slides back, and the king moves out from the g file. There is no clear way how black can proceed in this particular pattern. And in fact, white is much better despite its king being out in the center. All the minor pieces and major pieces are aligned quite well. The rooks are connected, and they can just start pushing the pawns forward, and slowly the king can slide into somewhere on the back rank and protect itself. Right. In this example, I want you to figure out if the Greek gift sacrifice works or not. And if it does, what are the moves that will lead to a checkmate for white? Here, the Greek gift sacrifice actually works. Bishop h7, king h7, knight g5. King will come to g6. We've already seen what happens if the king goes to g8. It's not really good for the black king. The king comes to g6, followed by h4. It seems like a slow move, but it's not because it uh, protects the knight and also plans for an attack on the h file. Knight takes on d1 and h5. King will take on h5. The reason why we played this move is to bring the king further towards the center. g4, king goes back to g6, queen f5 check, king goes to h6, and we have a beautiful fork between the king and the queen. The only way it can prevent is by taking on f7, but then we'll get a rook for a knight. There's even a better move. Instead of taking on f7, you just play queen h5 and it's checkmate. In this case, it's white to move. Please figure out if the Greek gift sacrifice works in this case and if it's winning for white. Also, please think of all the variations, all the different moves that white and black can play, which can take the entire game in the different direction. Right? Let's see. Bishop sacrifices on h7. King takes, knight g5. Now, instead of king g8 or g6, king will play h6. Right? And we will push our pawn forward for the possibility of a discovered check once the knight moves. And if, say, the pawn takes, we can still just move our knight to f7, forking the king and the queen. And because and the queen is ours for the taking because black will have to move its king in this case. Now, instead of f5, we can also simply play queen g4 with the intention of bringing the queen on the h file and creating a checkmate threat from h7 because it is protected by our knight. To prevent this, black will play knight f5. So we will simply slide to h3, king g6, and queen h7 checkmate. Fourth puzzle of the day. In this case, it's again white to move. Please figure out how can white leverage the Greek gift sacrifice in case if the king moves to h6 after the check from the knight. Okay. Like always, we will start with sacrifice on h7, knight g5, king comes to h6 as we discussed. Now the idea is for our queen to move to g4 and come on the h file and attack from the h file because of our knight, which is going to prevent the h7 square primarily. Let's see how that works. Queen g4. So the opponent king tries to take our weak pawn on e3, but we have other things to attend to. King g6, queen h7. And now we did give our knight away, but for a greater cause. h4, king g4, queen g7, queen h6. The knight will take. It seems like black is winning, but after a couple of moves, black actually gets checkmated. Rook f4, the only place where the king can go is g3, and queen h4 checkmate. Now, after the check from knight g5, as always, king can also go to g6, which is also going to be detrimental for black. Queen g4, queen d2. Now, because of the discovered check, we can simply move our knight away and attack one of the attack the rook that's on f8. King moves. We have a better check from g5. The only place where the king can go is h7, followed by checkmate, queen g7. Another variation would be after queen goes to h6, instead of knight taking on h4, the queen can take on e3, giving a check, but that just means that the black queen got sacrificed for no real good. Right, the final chapter of the day, the final puzzle of the day. Please figure out if the Greek gift sacrifice in this case works or not. The hint, pay attention to the pawn already present on h4. All right, let's see. The h4 pawn over here is actually going to be the reason why white will not be able to deliver a beautiful checkmate. King takes on h7, knight g5. Now, since we have this h4 pawn already in place, the queen cannot go to g4 and then h4. Therefore, to prevent a check, black has to do just one thing, that is move the king to h6. So the white queen will try some other ways to deliver a checkmate. That's by moving to the h7 square, but simply g6 can stop it at h5. Although this looks like a complicated position, black is actually quite safe and it's not in any immediate threat of a checkmate. Instead of queen d3, queen can also play queen takes on d4. The idea remains the same. The queen will try to move to h file one way or the other, but it's just going to be quite difficult to penetrate because of the h7 pawn. I hope you learned a lot from this video. I hope Greek gift sacrifice is getting nicely imprinted in your minds. For more such videos, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'll make sure to keep creating quality videos for you to improve your chess this year. Thank you. It's a chess puzzler signing out.